Cupra has updated the Formentor. This was the company's first dedicated model. Now you may remember Cupra began as the performance division of Seat, but in more recent years it's branched out to become a standalone brand. And the Formentor was the first model that was exclusively designed for Cupra. Now, midway through, it's had a bit of an update and it's quite a significant amount of changes. The first thing you'll notice is if we come around to the front of the car, because that's really where the face of the Formentor has changed. What you'll notice around here on the headlights, for example, is there's a new triangular design. For these are the LED matrix headlights. And this lighting signature is going to become really the trademark of the brand. This is how you're going to recognize Cupra models in the future. This also has a new LED triangular fog lights just there as well. But the other thing is this new shark nose design. So the front end has become a lot more aggressive looking now, and that's really what Cupra wants to do with its brand. It's moved the badge up here, which was previously down here. It's got an all new, much more open grille design on the front, especially how it comes in. This is where that kind of shark nose design element comes from, and you've got two extra little flares just there as well. So it really emphasizes, when you take a step back and look at the whole front of it, you can really see how that changes the whole stance of the car. Now, this was a car that already sat pretty well on the road, and when you see it in side profile, I think it's one of the best views of the Formentor, especially the way they blister this bodywork here on the rear haunches, and it comes back down. At the rear, there's also been quite a number of changes. It still has the coast-to-coast taillights, but the Cupra badge is now illuminated in the back as well. So a bit of a trend that's now becoming the next big thing in a lot of car design. But it does look quite nice. You've still got that triangular design in the taillights there as well. And if you come around to the side, you can see it's got the Formentor name made into the taillights just there as well. So everybody is going to see that you're driving a Formentor. One last thing as well, it's now got a much more pronounced rear diffuser as well around the back of the car, so you can see exactly how that looks. Really does stand out and gives the car quite a kind of purposeful look on the outside. Cupra is going to offer a big variety of engines with the Formentor. It's going to start in some markets with a 1.5 TSI 6-speed manual producing 150 horsepower. There's also going to be a mild hybrid version of that same 1.5 engine that uses 48 volt tech that will also produce 150 horsepower and comes with a automatic transmission. Moving up from that then, you have 2-litre TSI petrol engines with a 204 horsepower 7-speed DSG and all-wheel drive. There's also, quite interestingly, going to be a 2-litre TDI diesel, again with 150 horsepower using that 7-speed DSG transmission. Then things get a little bit more heated in the performance stakes. The Formentor VZ, which comes from Veloz, uses two different engines. It starts with a 2-litre petrol using a 7-speed DSG transmission driving the front wheels and produces 265 horsepower. But then there's the range-topping 2-litre petrol engine with 7-speed DSG all-wheel drive, produces 333 horsepower and has a couple of extra things like a torque splitter on the rear and the option of upgrading the brakes to Akebono brakes. There's also going to be two plug-in hybrid options. Both use a 1.5 litre petrol engine and they will have outputs of 204 horsepower or 272 horsepower. Both will use an upgraded 19.7 kilowatt hour battery that gives a driving range of 100 kilometers. But more importantly, the charging option has been improved. You can now get a 50 kilowatt DC charging and upgraded to 11 kilowatt AC charging. So even if you're charging at home or in a public network, it's going to be a lot quicker to charge up your Formentor. A couple of other things, Cupra is introducing some new colors as well. This thing looks really good in that matte paint, but in total there's going to be around about 9 different colors on it. Now, there's also quite a bit of changes to the inside. So let's take a sit in and see what's new. The first thing you're going to notice is there's a new 12.9 inch display, much bigger. It does look quite good looking. Like all what we've seen more recently from the Volkswagen Group, there's now an illuminated touch bar across the bottom, so that's very good. Cupra has also completely redesigned its infotainment system, so it will require fewer inputs if you were to get to certain things on the menu. Obviously, all the connectivity is there as well, so you can run Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, all wirelessly if you want. The Formentor also has an improved wireless charging pad just in here. It's a 15-watt unit and it's also cooled, so it means your device isn't going to overheat. Other things that's new, there's a redesigned center console here. It's got all the copper accents on this version, but some other versions will use a dark chrome finish instead of the copper. And you've got this little nub for the automatic drive selector. There's a couple of other features like a new kind of three-dimensional textile here. Again, plays into that slightly triangular look that we see across the outside. That carries through on the inside. You've still got the same sort of nice flat bottom steering wheel here. It's got the satellite buttons here as well. So you've got a Cupra mode, your engine start stop is there as well. And there's a redesigned fully digital instrument display in front of the driver as well. The seats also remain quite nice. There's a couple of different textile options you can have. So you can kind of have this environmentally conscious leather, which is what Cupra calls this. There's also a more sustainable microfiber that uses about 73% content of recycled material. Overall, it is pretty nice inside. The Formentor was a good design to start with. I think what they've done enhances that a little bit further. In the back, there's plenty of room in the Formentor. I'm sitting behind myself in my normal driving position, and I've got quite a bit of headroom, even though there is a panoramic glass sunroof. So I have an inch or two to spare. I'm of average height, I'm about 5'9". More importantly, I can stretch out a bit. There's enough room in that front seat that I can get my feet in underneath. There's a pocket in the back. And overall, there's a decent amount of space. Now, there is a transmission tunnel here because the Formentor is available as an all-wheel drive model, so that does impinge on whoever is sitting in the middle seat. But you do also get climate control settings here, 2 USB-C charge ports. And if nobody is sitting in here, you can also then pull down the center armrest. You've got a pair of cup holders there as well. So overall, it's not a bad place to be sitting, spend a bit of time in. One thing I do like is having that large glass sunroof does make it a little bit more airy inside too. But if you want to know more about this, do head over to our website. It's CompleteCar.ie. You'll find it linked in the description below, and it's a great resource for finding your next new car.